I know it's starting a little early because you know what? I just couldn't wait. I set this for 8:15 to give us all a little time to get on, and it was just too close. I just couldn't wait. I had to get on here and chat with you guys and get some amazing questions answered. Let me know in the down in the chat where you're watching from. I see some people already in the house. I will tell you, as you probably already know, I'm in Missouri, and not gonna lie, it's a little chilly today. It's currently 27 degrees, but it feels like 14. Luckily, I'm in the house, so it feels like whatever my heat is set on. So I'm gonna take a little sip of the old thought juice, and we're gonna get this party started. I will tell you, I'm also excited. In addition to everything else, I'm super excited the fact that we're this close to 20,000 subscribers, which just blows my mind. And I want to thank each and every one of you for making that the possibility. Um, Marilyn's in the house. Becky, how are you? Robin's in the house from Cincinnati, Ohio. Glad to have you here. Let me know if you have any questions. Um, it doesn't have to be about self-publishing, although if it is, I'd be more than happy to answer it. But what's my favorite color? Red. Whatever you want to ask. I can't promise I'll answer it, but I'll do my best. And we're probably going to be here probably a maximum of 30 minutes, but if the questions stop coming in, then we might end sooner. Super new to KDP. 1 day so far. Wow. That's awesome. 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 Hey, you know what? Everybody starts somewhere. One thing that I see a lot of people do, whether it's especially in groups, is they try to compare themselves to other people. And I heard an analogy that somebody had made. I don't remember if it was in a YouTube video or in an article I read, but they basically said, a kindergartner doesn't compare themselves to a senior in high school, and it's the same thing. You're just starting out. So all I would say is, ask the questions that you have. Don't be afraid to ask questions, whether it's to me, to a group, a Facebook group, whatever, even if it's our Facebook group, which is Self-Publishing Today. And if you do want to sign up for that, make sure that you answer all 3 questions. The number of people that get declined because they don't answer all 3 questions just surprises me, because they're not difficult questions. But yeah, so like I said, don't try to compare yourself to anybody else. Um, always be learning and enjoy the ride. I will tell you that there's a really good chance, 9 times out of 10, your first book is going to be not as good as your second book, and not as or yeah, and then you're just going to get progressively better, and that shows that you're growing, and that's a good thing. So all I can say is welcome to the fun world of self-publishing, whether it's KDP, Lulu, Barnes and Noble, whatever. Although since you're just starting out, I would say KDP is probably the best place for you. It's the most um it, it's the easiest to understand, the easiest to go through. There's only 3 steps. Again, it's free to do, which is my favorite 4-letter F word. And just on this channel alone, there's so much content on it that even if you don't know what you're doing, um, whether it's my channel or Kindlepreneur or Self-Publishing with Dale or any of the other amazing people out there, there's plenty of content when it comes to KDP. So I hope that answered your your any hints. Um, all right, we got Robin in the house. She was from Cincinnati, I believe, and future author, book in production through Bookbaby. Okay, Bookbaby is another platform that you can go through. Yeah, I'll be honest, I've looked into Bookbaby, but I have not published on them yet. But I mean, who knows in the future? But yeah, congratulations on getting that book close to production. Awesome. Here's a great question. I'm thinking of doing a Kickstarter for my second book. I know backers get the book first, but when do you launch the book on Amazon? Um, First and foremost is, like you said, make sure that all of your backers have received it, not just that you've shipped it, but that they've actually received it. There's really no set rule. I would say give it at least a week, um, but I wouldn't wait any longer than a month. So somewhere between 1 to 4 weeks between when your last backer gets their copy and when you launch it to the rest of the world. That way, they've had time to at least dig into it. Also, that could really help out with some early book reviews. So very exciting, very exciting. Becky says, I run my own business. I'm a nonprofit organization. Okay. That's awesome. That's great to hear. Yeah. So many people, think of writing fiction, children's books, that kind of stuff. But nonfiction can be very profitable. And, it doesn't necessarily mean its profits going in your pocket. It can be for a nonprofit, and that's great. So, yeah, best of luck to you. Becky asks, can you be a personal trainer for KDP? It was in two different messages. Um, can I be a personal trainer? If you mean like a coach, um, I'll be honest. I do have a coaching program right now. I'm not taking any more students at this time, um, and just because of the students I already do have, as well as all the other stuff I have um, you know, in line. Plus, you got taxes and all that other stuff that I'm working on. But absolutely on the channel, if you have questions, if you have a question or an idea for a video, feel free to send it either in a comment in a video. You can comment on something on the community tab on YouTube. You can go to the Facebook group, or you can email me at kwheelerbooks@gmail.com. Anyway, any way you want to get a hold of me, you want to do it on multiple ways, whatever. And I will, I can't promise I'll do the video, but I will answer any question I can. If I don't know the answer, I will do my best to either find out or at least find somebody who can help you. But as far as coaching, I'm not taking any students right now. But again, I will, if you need a video done, because I'm always looking for ideas for videos. So, and to be honest, I've been doing this for 6 plus years. So a lot of the early things, like when you're first starting out, I may not have a video on, and I might not think to do it because it's not something fresh in my mind. So, especially those people who are just starting out, if you have questions, again, you can feel free to just send them my way, and preferably on the channel, because comments help with discoverability. But again, also if you want to join the Facebook group, again, self-publishing today on Facebook, answer the 3 questions, and you'll get accepted in. Again, that's self-publishing today. And yeah, like I said, it will help me get ideas for new videos. Plus, especially if you do it on the Facebook group, then you don't have to wait for me to answer. There are a lot of amazing authors that are and successful authors in that group. They'll be more than happy to help you as well. Okay, this is a great question. What is a backer? They review your books? Paula from UK. Well, glad to have you here, Paula from UK. Okay, so a backer, we were talking about Kickstarter. Kickstarter is crowdfunding. It's a crowdfunding site. Basically, and it's not just for books, but you can put a book up there. Um, Basically, you're asking for the public to help you with your publishing, and you'll have different levels. So in exchange for their donations, they might get a copy of, a digital copy of your book. If they donate X amount, if they they don't call it donating it. What do they call it? I can't think of off the top of my head. Well, they're called backers. Um, but if they back at, you know, $10, maybe they'll get the digital version. If they back at 25, maybe they'll get a print paperback version, and so on. The amount that they are paying, the amount that they are backing, is not the value of whatever that product is. It's going to be They're going to be paying more because they're paying to back you, to get behind you. That's why it's called a backer. They're behind you, supporting you, because there's other fees that you have to pay and all that other stuff when it comes to it. So that's what it is. As far as they review your books, um, anybody who gets a copy of your book, whether you gave them a free copy or they bought a copy, whether it's through Kickstarter or just you meet somebody at a restaurant and you give them a copy of your book or whatever. Anybody who has a copy of your book can leave a book review, and so that's what I meant by they can leave a book review for them. So that's what it is. Backers, it's strictly for I don't want to say Kickstarter, but for crowdfunding is what we were talking about. Good question. Okay, Robin wants to know, what do you think about ghostwriting? Um, I think ghostwriting. I don't know whether you're talking about being a ghostwriter or hiring a ghostwriter. So I'm going to answer both of those. When it comes to hiring a ghostwriter, I've hired numerous ghostwriters over the years. It's just like when you're hiring any kind of freelancer, you want to do your due diligence and make sure that you do some research on the person that you're going to hire, so that way you're not spending your money unwisely. You want to make sure that somebody that has a history of doing good work. I also, and like I've got videos on these, but I also, regardless of what kind of freelancer they are, I always ask for a sample of their work. And I don't mean a sample like just going to their page and seeing what they've done. I want to give them a little bit of a scenario, and when it comes to ghostwriters, and I want them to give me a sample of what they would do for that. That way I know that the content that they're creating is unique, because I'm giving them the prompt, if you will. If it's an illustrator, I do the same thing. I give them a little bit of a scene that I want to do. Obviously, like for illustrators, I don't expect them to be in full color. I just want line drawing, just something that I know that you didn't just copy something off the internet and present it as your own. Same thing for ghostwriting. Now, when it comes to being a ghostwriter, I've never done that. I've never ghostwritten for anybody. The only person I've ever written for is myself. But like I said, I've worked with plenty of ghostwriters. I think it's an amazing talent that people have, this ability to write and the willingness um, to do it behind the scenes. To not, as human beings, a lot of times we want to get that praise and recognition for what we've done. And the whole concept of being a ghostwriter means you're not getting that. So ghostwriting for other people can be a great way to hone your own skills, and not necessarily your writing skills, as in um, hone your voice. What we all as writers have a voice. We've got ways we like to write, certain things that are common with when we write from the heart, when we write, you know, for ourselves. And when you're writing for other people, you can kind of tweak that, because you have to meet certain people's, your the people that hired you. You have to meet their requirements, and so it helps you broaden your thought process and the way you write. So it actually can help you as a writer for yourself by writing for other people first. So again, I've never done ghostwriting, so I don't know which of those you were asking about, but you got the answer to both. If you have identified a niche in low content and have a couple books ready to go, is rapid release the best way to launch, or both at once? Um, it really depends on your niche. When it comes to low content, um, I wouldn't do them like exactly at the same time, because that's not going to help you with the Amazon algorithm. You're basically at that point you're competing with yourself. So I would launch, um, maybe one, depending on how many you've created. You said a couple, so I'm gonna assume you've got, let's say, two, between two and five. I would do launch one now, and then maybe launch one in 2 weeks, or a month, something like that. A month is a really good time period because if you remember, uh, I've talked about in numerous videos, but 30 days is how long your book is going to be considered a new release. And so when you have one book out there and it's on the new release list for 30 days, and then you put out another one, that can really help your author ranking. So many people, everybody knows about the bestseller rank for your book, but many people don't know that you have an author ranking. And so Amazon doesn't just look at you as, look at your book on the individual level, but also on the grander level as an author. And so the more you as an author publish and get sales and stuff like that, the better your author ranking is, and the better, more attention you get from Amazon. So, matter of fact, one of my previous students, she did children's books, and she had, uh, I think she said like 100 different children's books that were in one form of writing or another. Shout out to you if you're watching. Um, but what what I had her do is we set up a schedule. So she was launching a new book every month, and it's done really well for her. The last I checked, she was super excited with how well it's been going. Um, so yeah, I would say probably once a month. Again, it depends on how many you have, as well as how long they take you to create. Because one thing you want to keep in mind is you want to keep that momentum going. Just like with most things in life, the best way to get success is consistency. If I stopped making YouTube channels and I just came or YouTube videos and I just came out and did a video every once in a while, my channel wouldn't grow nearly as well and wouldn't get as much visibility as it does when I do a video a week. So that's something to keep in mind. So you want to make sure it's something that you can keep up with, especially with the low content books. Um, Depending on what kind of low content book, like if it's a puzzle book, notebooks are quite a bit easier. One, they're easier to create, and two, they're consumables, but someone can just buy that same one. Whereas like puzzle books, you really have to stay on top of that because if you put out, let's say, five in your series, if someone's bought all five of yours, they want that sixth one. And if you don't have it, then they're just going to find somebody else who does. They can't rebuy any of your other ones. So that's one of the pluses and minuses to publishing puzzle books specifically, is that you have to keep on top of it. I mean, obviously other people can find it, but um, you're not going to be nearly as successful in a niche if you only have five books, five puzzle books in that niche, because one of the greatest things you can have is a repeat customer. And when you get repeat customers, you want to keep them. And the only way to keep them when you're doing puzzle books is to keep creating, new content that they're going to be interested in. I hope that answers your question. Okay, Becky. All right, you're not the only one. So that's why I'm putting this up here. Um, Always afraid to ask. I don't want to feel stupid. There, like I said, I've been doing this for over 6 years. There really are no stupid questions. Trust me, if there were, I would have asked them a long time ago. Um, I mean, I've had people ask me, what's KDP? That's a very valid question. What's print on demand? Again, very, very valid question. Now I understand that sometimes you might not want to answer, ask a question during a live stream, which I mean, you've asked questions, so that's great. That shows that you want to learn and that you're willing to not. I mean, I wouldn't make fun of anybody. Like I said, there are no stupid questions, but I understand that feeling. We as creators, as you know, artists, whether we're creating no content or we're writing or whatever, many of us are introverts, and so there is that fear um, of not fitting in, that fear of uh, asking a stupid question. You don't have to worry about that here on this channel. So you also don't have to worry about it on the Facebook group. So if you want to do that, like I said, there are plenty of amazing authors, and that way, if I'm not available to answer right away, somebody else can answer. And also keep in mind that that my way isn't the highway. You know what I mean? It's not the only way to do it. There are plenty of people that are more successful than I am, that do things differently than I do. And I'm always interested in learning other people's ways too. So, I mean, I um, mastermind with other creators because I want to continue to learn as well. So, yes, there are no stupid questions. I promise. You're very welcome for answering that question. Can you hire a ghostwriter for KDP? Becky asks. Yeah, you absolutely can. Um, doesn't matter what niche you're writing in. You can absolutely hire a ghostwriter. You can. I've done some videos where I've hired ghostwriters for children's books. Um, but yeah, I hire. Last year alone, I hired I think three or four different ghostwriters for different types of books. Um, and yeah, it's absolutely okay. There's nothing wrong with it. You want to make sure that in your agreement with them, which is why I use Fiverr, because it's all the agreements are already done on their end. But you make sure that it's clear that you have uh, the full rights to the work that's being created because you're paid for it, right? And make sure that they understand because they're a ghostwriter, their name will not be on it. And yeah, it's absolutely okay for any, I don't say any print on demand, any print on demand I've ever seen. KDP, Barnes and Noble, um, they don't care who wrote your book as long as you own it. As long as you own the content, that's all they care about. So that's great question. Becky, no need to apologize. Hey, questions are what this is all about, right? It's a live Q&A. So, if you've got questions, go in there, do it. All right, my man Dale, we were just talking about you not too long ago. Self-publishing with Dale is in the house. Glad to have you here, Dale. Yeah, if you haven't checked out Dale's channel, amazing, amazing content. He actually has two channels when it comes to self-publishing. He's got this one and his podcast that he does. And if you're interested in maybe doing a YouTube channel, him and his brother, they have a channel called Live Streaming Tech. You can check them out. They do reviews on products. They talk about doing videos on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all that other good stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, check Dale out. He knows what he's talking about. Matter of fact, many years ago, I'd been in the industry for a while. I'd been self-publishing books for 1 or 2 years, and I'd seen some success, quite a bit of success. But then I ran into Dale, and he opened up a coaching program, or actually, he has a course and a coaching program, and I I was lucky enough to be part of the beta, and Dale and I've been friends ever since. Okay, here's a great question. Patricia asks, looking to save some money. Sounds like me. Any question or any suggestions what organizations, companies, influencer to contact to get a free review of a children's picture book? The when it comes to children's books, your best bet, from my experience, is your local elementary school or elementary schools, plural. Um, you can reach out to the librarians there. They're always looking for great children's books to add to their library. Also, your local public library, believe it or not, people still go to the library. I know I do. And yeah, absolutely. Those are probably your best, um, the best things you can do are the best people you can reach out to because they are in contact with your readers, especially elementary school librarians, because not only do they deal with the children on a regular basis, so they'll be able to tell you honestly if it's if it's good or not. But also, as someone who has kids, my kids are a little older now, but my wife and I ran the local elementary school ran their book fairs for years, and the number of the percentage of parents that take what the librarian says as you know the word is amazing. They take them, if the local librarian says this is a great book, I really recommend this. The number of people that bought that book just blew my mind. So even if they don't give you a direct review, they might not go onto Amazon to do a review, but they could do a couple things. One, they can give you amazing feedback, which will help you grow as an author. Also, they can give you, and make sure if they do this, make sure you ask to if you can use it. They can at least give you a verbal review, a verbal communication, a quote that maybe you can put on the back of your book, on the front of your book, on your website, any of those places, where you can quote them if they have something positive to say about your book. But again, more importantly, one, like I said, they can help you grow as an author. But if they like your book, one, they can carry it there. Just donate it. Um, I'm not a lawyer. I don't even play one on TV. I'm not a tax attorney, but you can write that off. In most cases, you can write that off because it's a donation, and so they can carry it, which means people can read it. The more people that read it, the more your chances of getting a book review are. And the same thing goes for your public library. And again, don't just stick with whatever your closest elementary school is. I know the town that we live in, we have, last I checked, there were 11 elementary schools. And so I reach out to all 11 of them. I've done author visits or at least virtual author visits to 9 or 10 of the 11. So there's so many possibilities to get your name out in your local community. And none of what I did cost money. Also, you can reach out to your um, local newspaper. There's so much negativity in this world. Newspapers love a good, positive story. And so, one of those feel good stories, and people love to hear about successes within their community. And even if you've never sold a book, as a published author, you've done something that majority of people haven't. That in and of itself is something to brag about, something to that other people can look up to. And so I've been published in our local newspaper and even surrounding newspapers over the years. And again, all of it is free publicity, which anybody that knows me knows free is my favorite four-letter F word. That's right. Dale says about this time in 2018 was when Dale and I started working together. Yep. See, this is why you need to not just stay on one channel. I'm glad that everybody is here, but Dale right here, reader's favorite, does one free review. There you go. Thanks, Dale. Okay. Yeah, I hear you, Becky. Coloring books are not my best friend right now. I'm assuming you're talking about creating them. Creating coloring books can be time consuming, but they can be, they can sell really well. I've done a few. I've probably done 10 maybe. Um, and most of them haven't sold, but I do have a couple that sell pretty well. So it really, just like with anything, is going to depend on your niche, but I know they can be really time consuming depending on how you're creating them. So yeah. And there's, depending on your niche, there could be hot times. There's some of the niches I'm in, and I actually have my uh, the the offerings that I do have some. Most of them are evergreen, but then I do have some that are seasonal, and I have them sporadically set up so that way throughout the year my sales stay as consistent as I can. So, for example, most people know that softball is a pretty heavy, one of the niches I'm in. And there are definitely hot seasons for that, spring and summer, and some seasons that are not so much. But then I have other niches that during those off times sell really well. And so again, it's to keep that balance going. So um, I don't know if it Becky, if it's coloring books in general or if it's a specific niche that you're in. But yeah, it's, I mean, if you're not enjoying it and it's taking a lot of your time, then I you may want to see if your time is better used working on something else for right now, or at least some of your time spent working on something else. So you don't want to, you never want to put all your eggs in one basket anyway. Okay. So this is an excellent question, um, yet a bit vague. Do self-publishing step by step. Okay. So again, I talked about this earlier. I don't know if you were on yet, but problem is I've been doing this for many, many, many years. Um, there are certain things that are obvious to me that are, this, you do this, then you do this, you do this, and those absolutely I can do a video on. And I'm actually thinking about doing an entire playlist that is basically what you're saying, self-publishing step by step. But if there's any specific step that you're having questions on, I would ask it. One is because I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish the entire series, and chances are, if you're stumped on on a specific step, you want your answer now. So you're not going to want to wait, months before I come up with that video. So ask that question. I don't necessarily mean now. I mean, if you want to ask it now, you can, but ask it, in a, like I said, in an email, preferably here on the channel or in the Facebook group. Um, but also, there may be a step that I overlook because I've done it so many times. So, this goes back to, you know, earlier when Becky said, I think it was Becky that said that she didn't want to ask any stupid questions. They're not stupid questions. There are plenty of things that I've done so many times that they're second nature that I just don't even think of being a step. And so, asking that question, I guarantee you, if you have that question, other people have it as well. So, yes, I do plan on doing a step by step series. I can't do them sequentially because I have such a wide range of people that view my videos. Is that if all I was doing for like a month were you know first time publishing type questions, I would alienate those people that have been around for a while, and this is all nothing new to them. And so they will have to come out, sporadically. But yes, I absolutely plan on doing that. Excellent, excellent suggestion. All right, Becky says she is lost right now when it comes to them. She's talking about coloring books. Um, uh, what are you lost about? When the good thing about whatever niche you want to be in, whether it's coloring books, children's books, adult romance, any of it, no, even notebooks, the niche research is the same. So that's the good thing, is you can see what other people are doing. You can see what's profitable, what's overly saturated, what niches are saturated, and then figure it out from there, like what best fits you, what you can do well, and still get that visibility. And that's where that's where it really matters to do that niche research, because you don't want to waste your time working on something, and nothing is more deflating than doing that, and then you don't it doesn't come nothing comes of it because it's just super saturated, or you can run ads to it, and even if your ads are seen, now you're spending money to try to make money, which, I mean, ads are great and ads have worked really well for me, but only if you make sure that the niche that you're in, that the books that you're creating and sub niches, that they're going to be profitable for you. That gives you the best chance of success, instead of just, throwing something at the wall and seeing what sticks. So what I would say is, you said you're lost with them. I don't know if you're talking about creating them, researching them. If it's researching them, just check out any research video I have here on the channel, regardless of what it's about, whether it's about puzzle books or whatever. It's the same thing for coloring books. Just when I say puzzle books, you just would type in coloring books. Um, so don't don't be if you're determined that you want to do coloring books, and that's great, don't let a hiccup that you have deter you from sticking with that. And when I said earlier about, maybe your time is spent better doing something else, that's not meant in any way, shape, or form um, to suggest that you quit doing what you're doing. It's to keep an open mind, think outside the box. So some people work really, really well if they're focused on just one thing. I, on the other hand, cannot do that. I get bored really easily and quit easily if I'm only working on one thing. So I may be working on, just use the example, coloring books. I may be working on creating, two coloring books, or and two different niches for coloring books. And, then I'm writing a children's story. So um, whatever works best for you. But again, if it's niche research, just any video, whether it's on my channel, Dale's channel, any other channel, um, you know, even if it's not specific to coloring books, it'll work for coloring books. Just they're interchangeable because the research is the same regardless. And so um, that will help you find niches that that can work. That are you want something that has low competition, but when you look on Amazon, and make sure you do an incognito mode so you're getting the most accurate information as possible, and they've got low competition, and that the BSRs, the bestseller ranks of the books that are there, are selling. If it doesn't have a BSR, it means it's not selling anything. And I usually like a BSR range out of the top 20 to be somewhere between 20,000 and 150,000. 100,000 is usually that sweet spot where it usually means that you're selling at least one book a day. So obviously, if the number one book in that category is only selling, is 100,000, that means the best that is happening in that category is one sale a day. So you might, if you want to be more successful, not make more money than that, then that may not be the niche for you. But that said, that also means that that's going to be really easy for you to get that number one spot if you can get two sales a day. Also, if you've got multiple books that are bringing in multiple sales a day, it doesn't take long before that's making a really decent amount of income. Okay, so Becky said she's lost at producing them. Okay, so there's, I mean, creating coloring books can be hard. They're time consuming. I do have some videos on ways that I have done it in the past. I also know that um, Rachel Harrison's son, which is, she does amazing work as well on her channel. Her channel is specifically for no content, low content books. She's got some great videos on how to create coloring books. But yeah, I've got one where you just go in, and I think I did it in Word. It might have done it in PowerPoint as well. And I just show how you take an image that you already have, an illustration, whether you get it off, Pixabay or whatever. And in my example, I used Pixabay, but I don't typically I typically would not do that for a book that I'm actually going to sell. That was just for the demonstration purposes. Um, but you can go to places like Creative Fabrica, deposit photos, and get images that aren't free, but that are reasonably priced. That way you get, they're not just out there, because when you get something from Pixabay, because it's free, everybody has access to it, which means it's not unique. And obviously, the first thing you want to do is you do want to try to make it unique, but the next step would be to go to, like I said, Deposit Photos is a great place to do it. Creative Fabrica as well, and you can go in and buy one product, one image, and that image could have multiple images in it. You don't have to just do one picture per page, as far as like what you purchase, and then you can take each of those images out and use them as separate pages, depending on the age group of your, of the that your niche is going to be in, that you want. So if you're doing it for children's books, then obviously, very simple images is all you would really need. But and then I do have a video where I show how you can just take the color out of those, and then just add some flourishing to make it more unique. And you can add some text to it or whatever. But yeah, just check out the video that I have. Okay, so Becky says in a couple of videos, first of all, she says, please do a playlist. I will do that playlist. She said her goal is to be at VidCon next year as a professional YouTuber. Can I do a series on that? Oh, on the ads. Okay. I thought you meant on YouTube. I'm like, that's not really the niche. I mean, that's not really the niche for this channel. So I would probably, maybe something, we do have um, a membership, a channel membership that I'm about ready to revamp and come up with some other bonuses that I can do for people that want to take the next step and, kind of um, help the channel out, make some donations to the channel. And I'm thinking about doing, maybe do some videos off the public channel that are geared towards maybe doing YouTube channels or other things that aren't self-publishing books. So that way it doesn't interfere with what I'm doing on this channel, but it still helps out, the people that are interested in it. So that's definitely an idea I have, Becky. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Okay. Um, okay. So if anybody else has any questions, make sure that you drop them down in the comments. If not, we're going to be closing up pretty soon. I know we went a little over. They've been great questions. Um, so to answer your question, Becky, um, you want to work in different niches and not just one. That is that is my biggest suggestion. You again don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. I am in dozens of niches over the years, and obviously currently still am. Most of them are not in my own name, but and that's fine too. You may have heard of pen names. That's just a big fancy word of saying you're using a different author name. And so, depending on the niche, will determine what pen name I go under or my own. Um, Even whether it's just coloring books or whatever, yeah, you definitely don't want to just stick with one because, like I said, there may be downtimes in that niche, but also, again, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So, doing research and finding, you know, a couple niches. You don't want to go all out and do 12 niches to begin with. Just start out with, maybe two and see how that works out. And then, you can adjust from there. It's a growing thing. Um, it's just like any business. You're gonna learn more. You're going to change the way you do things, both from a business perspective, from a niche perspective, from a creator's perspective. Okay, so can I do a series? I do have some videos on ads. You can check that out here on the channel. Okay, here we go. With your writing, how do you decide which projects you're going to focus on? I have shiny new object syndrome. Yes. Yes, shiny object syndrome. Many, many times I've fallen victim to that, as have many of my students over the years. All right, so a couple things. One is, um, and Chris Fox talks about this on his channel a couple times, but there's a thing that we all as humans have started thinking of over the past, I don't know, 100 years or whatever. And that's, what are our priorities? Priorities, it's a singular thing. You know, you can't have more than one priority. Now your priorities can change, as they do. And so what you need to do is, and what works the best for me when you have multiple projects, is a checklist. And I don't call it a priority list because, again, you only have one priority, one top priority. This has to get done today. Um, and so the things that work best for me are a schedule. If you're working on, if I'm writing, perfect example is last year. Last year I wrote 3 children's books. Okay. Um, I had on my calendar mapped out when those books were going to publish. Depends on your schedule. If you've got a full-time job like I do, and kids and everything else, then you may only be able to publish one, one book, 1 or 2 books a year. That's completely fine. So then that means if you've got 2 books that you're working on, you can only publish 2 a year. Then you're going to do, maybe one in May and you'll publish one in November. Well, you get that on your schedule, and then you can work backwards. How long is it going to take? How long is it going to take you to get that first draft written? That'll let you know when you need to start writing it. And then, so I've got my schedule that's mapped out for the year, and things change. I've got, when I'm writing my longer books, like my young adult novel, I had a certain number of words I had to write every day. And so I had that on my schedule. And if something came up, if I got sick or one of the kids got sick or whatever, and I wasn't able to meet that, then the next day I have to work twice as hard, or at least get more words done than I normally had scheduled. So I keep my schedule, and then I also have my to-do list, and it's on my phone. And whatever is the number one thing that has to get done that day, has to get done, is at the top. And whatever, is the second most important is below that, and so on. Now, depending on, I may have things that are reliant on other people. Like it's on my list today, as an example, that I need to start working on my second draft of one of my books. But if my first draft is still with my beta readers, well, then I really can't do that. So then that's going to get shifted down and something else is going to move up. And the important thing is literally just going down that list, and, oh, I can't get to this because I'm reliant on somebody else. You skip over it and you move to the next one. And then whatever doesn't get done today gets shifted over to tomorrow's to-do list. And in addition to whatever else I had to do that day. And so that, like I said, that's on my phone. And the last thing I do before I go to bed at night, as kind of a way to wind down, is I make my to-do list for tomorrow. And I already have like a base of things I do every day. And then whatever was left over from yesterday just gets shifted and it gets moved up, towards the top for tomorrow, because now it's overdue. So that makes it a priority, a number one priority. So I hope that answers your question. One thing when it comes to writing specifically is, I shut off the Wi-Fi on my computer. I put my phone on airplane mode, so I am literally only writing. And I also do it in sprints, so that way it makes me shut off my editor, my internal editor as well, so I write more words. So those are just some suggestions that I have. Um, I don't know if Dale's still doing them or if Dale's still listening in, but Dale does some really good writing sprints on his channel. So you might want to check that out and see if he's still doing those. I've been thinking about doing writing sprints, but when I've done them the couple times, I really didn't get many people watching, and so it really didn't seem like something that people were interested in. So if you guys would like that, and if you're watching this on the replay, if you'd be interested in in participating in some writing sprints, mine will not be on the weekend. They would be during the week. It would probably be like a excuse me, like a lunch hour writing sprints. Um, and the great thing is you can do it on your phone, you can do it on notebook, paper, computer, whatever. And so the goal would be maybe 45 minutes. That way gives people 15 minutes to you know you know clock out of work if you have to clock out, sit down, do it, grab a bite to eat while they're doing it, whatever. So just an idea I had. Let me know if that'd be something you'd be interested in. And this looks like this may be the last question for today. We went way over, but that's fine. Yolanda, do you use sponsored ads on Amazon? Yes, I do. I use sponsored ads. I've used lock screen ads, depending on the type of book it is. Lock screen ads can be tricky, so that I don't use that for every niche. But sponsored ads are, yes, some of the most frequently ones I do are sponsored ad. Yes, Becky. If I do sprints, they will be it'll be clear on the channel. Um, I will make it well known. I will not just secretly do some sprints. All right. So with that, I thank each and every one of you for being here. If you like this video, make sure that you click that like button. Not only will it save this video in your likes, so you can go back and rewatch it later if there was something I covered and you want to learn more about, but also it helps the Amazon the YouTube algorithm know that this is something that they should share. And also, if you know anybody that would be interested in learning any of the answers to these questions, make sure that you share it with them too. Let's see. I really appreciate everybody being here. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And remember to write right.